of rush and excitement is helping the people on my team reach their goals. It actually makes me more excited when they hit their goals than when I do myself. So that's kind of a lot of the focus that we're actually going to be focusing on today, is helping ourselves reach our goals, but then also in turn helping our team reach their goals, which helps us, but then also helps them. It's kind of this awesome teamwork kind of thing we've got going on. So we're going to focus a little bit on that, on how to help them reach their goals and all of us reach our goals. So yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, so I want you to think for a moment, just kind of reflect. If you're taking notes, jot it down, grab your planner, grab a sticky note, then you can stick it in your planner, but think about what your July goal is. So what has your July goal been? Is it, oh my gosh, I want those Nikes? Is it, oh my goodness, I want to earn an extra couple $100 this month? Like, what is your goal? Is it, I just really want to help 6 people, or I want to help 4 people? What is that July goal that you've set in mind for yourself? And I encourage you that if you're like, okay, I want to, get 6 people started, that you should double that. Like, go big. Why not? Because if we have it in our heads, like, okay, I'm going to help 6 people this month get started, then you're going to stop at 6. But if you have this goal for something bigger, like 12, then you're going to keep working towards that, right? Now, most people, I would guess on here, I don't know everyone's financial situation or anything, but most of us could go buy a pair of shoes if we need them, right? We're going to find a way to pull the money out to go buy a pair of shoes. So do we really need a pair of Nikes this month? No. But isn't it awesome that we can earn a pair of Nikes this month? It's pretty exciting, right? And they're Plexus branded, which I just think is fascinating and super cool. So I'm really pumped about it, actually. And then I also want you to jot down, what is your long-term goal with Plexus? Like maybe, and I kind of think in like bits. So by the end of the year, by December, so we're halfway through the year, by December, this is where I would like to be. By next year at this time, this is where I would like to be. And then ultimately, I want to be a diamond, right? So I already have this trajectory in my head where I want to be, and I want you to jot that down, because if you're not thinking of working towards that long-term goal, then you have to stay focused on that as well in order to be efficient in what you're doing. So as a physical therapist, when I tell a patient, okay, we're gonna sit up today, you're gonna sit on the edge of the bed, and this lady is like, do I have to? And I'm like, yes, you do. Because you're not getting stronger laying in the bed. You want to go home. You want to be able to get up to your wheelchair or your chair, and eventually you want to walk. These are all things we just talked about. So yes, you're going to sit up. And this lady is like, do I have to stay sitting up? And I'm like, yes, you do. So I want you to think of me saying that in your head. Yes, you do need to do that, right? Because we are here with us. So I had my hand on her back and I was supporting her. I said, listen, I'm here with you. I'm here to help you. I'm here to keep you safe, but we are going to continue to sit up for another 5 minutes. And she did it. I'm like, let's exercise your legs while you're sitting here, So I want you to think of me. Picture this in a hospital room, an older lady, very weak, very large lady, and me sitting there going, yes, you have to do this. So think of me telling you, yes, you have to talk to your people, right? You have to do your outreach and your IPA. And so just remember to keep that in mind. When we talk about posting with Facebook, on Facebook or social media, we really, really, really want to reach out to a multitude of people, right? So myself, I am naturally thin. Could I stand to tone up from having 4 kids? Yeah, sure, whatever. Yeah, absolutely. But I don't post a ton about weight loss because that isn't something I personally need. However, I have to remind myself to post about weight loss because some people need that. And the flip side of that, if I had only seen Debbie posting about weight loss, I would have kept scrolling because that wasn't something I personally needed, right? So we need to make sure we're posting about weight loss, headaches, migraines, staying compliant, of course. We need to post about digestive issues, all these other issues that these products address. I'm not going to keep going into more detail on that. Read through Gut Health and Happiness and Beyond. See what our products really do, right? And we also need to post about the business. We need to post a little bit about something that's going to appeal to the researchers out there. So we just finished the color personality book, and we want to appeal to those people that want the details. So maybe doing a post and saying, see the comments for a link for more information is a good tactic, so that information is there. But most people, technically, I mean, realistically, most people, if they see a research article, they're scrolling. They're not going to stop for that. There are some that do, but most people don't really care about the ingredients and the lowdown. If they cared, people wouldn't smoke and people would not drink pop, right? Because there's tons of research on how terrible smoking is. There's tons of research on how terrible all the like sugars and chemicals that are in pop, right? And so if people really cared what was in stuff, then that wouldn't happen. People wouldn't be smoking. So just think about reaching these people. Reach the people that want to have fun. Post about convention. Post about these cool shoes. Post about Hawaii coming up and Leaders Retreat, the cruise from last year. I mean, you can pull up those posts, even if they've happened not recently, you can still use those because that's still going to pertain to people on your friends list. So really talking and reaching that variety of people and personalities is so important. All right, and then Lauren is going to talk a little bit about reaching out.
Yes, I think posting is something that we all really like to do. That's why we're all on social media. It's easier for us to post and reach a multitude of people. But what we forget sometimes, and I know that there have been multiple videos made about this, is that sometimes people like to post and just hope that somebody reaches out to them, right? We've all been there, like maybe somebody's been watching my last 2 weeks of posts. They've been really good, and maybe they'll reach out to me and finally want to join. But the reality is that doesn't happen that often. It does happen, and that's really exciting when it does, but we need to make sure that we're also reaching out to people about the products, about the business, and not being afraid to do that, because that's where sometimes we can get a little more stagnant. And making sure that we are not afraid to do that. I don't know how many of you can kind of feel the same way as I do about this, but there have been multiple times that I've reached out to people and they have said, oh my gosh, thank you for reaching out. I've actually been meaning to talk to you about it and I just kept forgetting. I really appreciate you reaching out to me. So you never know who is silently like hoping that you'll reach out to them and saying like, maybe they don't want me on their team. Maybe I'm not somebody that they think would be really helpful on their team, or maybe they don't think I'd be good at this. But you just never know who's hoping that you'll reach out. So you can't be afraid to do that, to get out of your comfort zone, to talk to people about the opportunity, talk to people about the products, and a bunch of different ways too. Like Elizabeth said, just like we're not going to post only about weight loss, we're not going to reach out and tell people only about the weight loss, right? We want to make it about them and about what their goals are, whether that's the financial opportunity, whether that's anxiety, migraines, whatever it may be. We're reaching out, not just posting and hoping that they'll reach back out to us. Because like I said, there have been multiple people that have thanked me. So don't be afraid to do that. And then don't be afraid also to make sure you're following up with those people, and not just reaching out once and then they ignore you or they say no or whatever it is, and just letting it be that. I think there's been recently a post that was said about how it actually takes, it used to be 7 to 10 exposures to something. And now with all the noise that we're getting on social media, the noise that we're getting just in everyday lives, it's really up to like 20 exposures now for somebody to really understand and take it all in and be excited about something and say yes to your product or your opportunity or whatever it is. So not just stopping at the one reach out, but making sure that we're following up consistently to see if they're ready. When we have new products, oh my gosh, you guys, a new product tomorrow. What's that going to be? Who's excited about that? We have active, a new product. Like we always have these awesome opportunities that Plexus gives us to reach out to people and say like, hey, we have this new product, or hey, we have these free enrollment codes. Like, oh my goodness, who doesn't want a free enrollment code? And really, highlighting those things so that people are excited. And then not only following up, and we're going to get into this in a minute, I think, not only following up with people that we want to recruit, but then making sure we're following up with people that we already have recruited. This is where I think a lot of times people sort of fall short, is from what I've seen, is that they are like, yay, I have this new join. I'm closer to the iPad or to the shoes or whatever it is, but then are you taking care of those people after they have signed up? Are you checking in multiple times in that first month and making sure that they like their products, that they're taking them the right way, that they're taking them consistently? Are you following up with them 2-3 months down the road when they've been taking them, making sure that they still are taking them consistently? And Elizabeth, I don't know if you had stuff to touch on that. So I'm going to stop talking for a minute and let you kind of take the show here.
Oh, you are good. I love it. So it's following up, really, and like Lauren said, like following up with people that haven't ordered in a while, or maybe they haven't even responded to a friendly message in a while. And you're like, hey, there's this new product. This is what people are seeing with it. I just thought of you. I'd like for you to know. Like following up with people that haven't ordered in forever, or whatever the case may be, because it's still a new product. There's still people that haven't tried Joyome. There's still Lean that's still new. Lean isn't even a year old. The vegetarian is, but the whey leans are not even a year old. Metaburn just came out in November. I was shocked. I was shocked when they came out with Lean and Metaburn right before the holidays. Like, how incredible was that? And now we have Active, and then tomorrow a new product, you know, so this is a new opportunity to continue to follow up with those people. But in terms of your new people, so like Lauren said, you know, you reach out to somebody and they're like, oh, I'm so glad that you reached out to me. I have been seeing your posts. I'm really interested. And then for the next month, they don't talk back, right? And then you find out, oh, they had something horrible happen in their family, or they just got super busy with work, or their kids, or this or that. Like, people are so busy. And here I'm like trying to simplify my life, right? But not everyone's there yet. And so that it's okay. Like, it's okay. They still are your friend. They're still interested. You don't want to get discouraged by that. It just means that they don't know what we know. They don't know how much better they're going to feel. They don't know how amazing this opportunity is. And so it's just continuing to be their friend and follow up with them. And then also, once we get them going, we want to follow up with making sure they're using their products correctly. With the new $199 packs, there's a lot more product, right? So Triplex was easy. You start with your Slim, you add in your Bio Cleanse, you start your ProBio, you work through Detox. Now we're like, okay, maybe we need to do X Factor Plus for you, or ease an X Factor Plus first and calm down your system. So I love that we have more variety, but it takes a little more work for us to get them using those products correctly in a way that's going to work with their body, and also not to overwhelm them. So if I will tell people, like, set your Metaburn aside, we're not going to worry about that one right now. We're going to focus on these products, and this is how we're going to do it. So it's a little bit more following up for us, but they are getting better and quicker, not better results, quicker results, because we can ease their body through the detox a little bit more effectively, pun intended with the ease, right? And we have more options to help them get that quicker result, which everyone is looking for. So that's really good. And then consistently following up with them to make sure that they have their subscription set up to the products that they need, because if we're using more ProBio 5, for instance, they might need 2 bottles of that with their Slim and their X Factor, and maybe not the Bio Cleanse. It's all different for everyone, right? So really following that closely. And then we also want to follow up with them about their business goals and getting the products covered, the cost down. So we're going to talk about that in a little bit too. But in terms of helping you be successful, Lauren's going to go over the back office. So don't let the back office scare you. She has some amazing tips with this. So.
Yeah, so I actually need to make just a big back office video. I know I did a team call, I think earlier this year about it, but I want to make sure that we all really understand how to get back in there, because it's so important, you guys, especially for those of you that are trying to rank up this month, or whatever month you try to rank up. I know this month is huge because it's the last month to qualify for Hawaii. It's also just a big month because it's leaders retreat contest period. So a lot of those rank ups are going to help with your points for leaders retreat and all of that. So knowing how to look in your back office is super important for ranking up too. I think a lot of us get kind of nervous, like Elizabeth said, about looking back there. We look at it with like a scarcity lens, right? We're like, oh, I wish there was more points there, or whatever the case may be. But I just want you to be encouraged that that's normal, but it shouldn't be. Like, you should just be very thankful for what you do have back there. I know Brittany Howard did an amazing video on this a while ago too, which is super beneficial to watch if you have not. But what I like to think of when I'm looking at my back office, and I kind of take inventory almost every day and just see where I'm at, is if my points have grown by like 20, let's say, and I was hoping that they would have grown by 50, instead of saying, oh man, I wish it would have grown by 50, I say, okay, well, if they grew by 20, that's it. 4 people that reordered today, and that's 4 more lives that will be changed this month because they reordered their Plexus products, and I'm so excited for them to continue to feel better. Looking at it that way rather than what we don't have and what our numbers don't say, but saying like, wow, I'm so happy that those people did reorder. But now let's talk about if we really want to get ranking up to the next level, we should be, first of all, if you're like a new silver or new person or getting on your way to gold and you're not quite sure what the back office is quite yet, get with your sponsor and they can walk through your specific back office with you and show you what like a white liner means, or what when somebody's at a partial PV, and help you understand why it's important to get to 100 PV for those people. And then if you are gold and above, or somebody that's growing really fast and above, and you have people on your team, making sure that you look at their back office with them and say, okay, you are, only this many people away from your next goal, and really helping them see how close they are to achieving that next rank or whatever that is. Making sure that you're not just doing that on the 28th though. And I think we've touched on this a few other times before, but that end of the month, that 28th checklist of like, did you check to see if everybody's at 100 PV? Have you followed up with your people? That shouldn't be just the last day of the month ever. It should be throughout the month all the time, but especially if you're trying to rank up, you should be checking on your people and saying, okay, these people are under 100 PV. Can I talk to them about a new product? Why aren't they ordering their full triplex at least? Making sure that those lines of communication are open. And then for people that all of a sudden aren't ordering and normally do, you can make sure that you're communicating with them as well and have that ongoing conversation throughout the month to help them reorder, for them to reach their health goals, and also to help you reach your goals of ranking up. I think that's most of the things I had to say about getting into your back office, but I can say with certainty that me looking at my team and seeing where they're at and vision casting for them and saying that, you're only 1 away from silver, or you're only 3 away from being gold, what can we do to get you to that next level, really excites them and shows them that they're capable of so much more. And then making sure that you kind of phrase it in a way that makes them excited for not only what that rank means or what the title is, but knowing what that amount of financial freedom can do for their family, or knowing what that rank could mean for their family moving forward. And just helping them kind of see that bigger picture is really important too.
Absolutely. I love that. I love how good Lauren is at those tips and at back office. She does a really, really good job. She says she's not a green, but then she is like a beast in the back office. So that's where her green comes out for sure. And so many good tips. So definitely get with your sponsor about what a white liner means, and what a partial PV, a partial product volume is, like how, and some strategies to remedy both of those things. So definitely get with your sponsor. And if your sponsor isn't quite sure and needs help, because they might be new too, then definitely keep reaching up the line. And we're happy to help. And, Lauren did do a team call on virtual office, back office training. So that one's searchable in Pink Power as well. And then just remembering, so the other piece of this is helping people reach their goals with their health, but also really, like Lauren mentioned, vision casting, like, hey, let's get your product costs covered. We have a lot of happy wholesalers, but if we can help them get to silver and get that product cost covered, then when a car repair comes up, their subscription is not the first thing that they shut down, right? Hopefully they're shutting down their Netflix or their, I don't know, not get their nails done or something first, because they know that their products are covered. And that can be so huge for a lot of families, you know? And then even beyond that, like just because they get to silver, now we need to help them get their people to silver. And it's all definitely a snowball. It's easy sometimes to be like, well, just put them in a 3-way chat with me and I'll tell them what to do. But that isn't duplicatable, right? We really want to say, okay, remember when I talked to you about posting a little bit and tagging me on social media, putting a couple people into 3-way chats with me. We did the health and wellness event on Facebook, or we did an in-person sip and see. So do you see what I'm saying? These are all things you should be writing down. And getting them to silver, but then helping them help their people do that too. And of course you're going to be the coach and you're going to be there, but definitely helping to help them help their people, right? Like know what to do. There's a lot of back office tools as well. And so you can dig around in there and familiarize yourself with that. Don't let that scare you. Like set a timer for 10 minutes, right? 10 minutes and just start clicking through those files so you know what is back there. Because we don't want to be spending all day, 8 hours of back office research. Don't do that. Limit it, be familiar. And as you spend that 10 minutes every couple of days or 15 minutes, whatever, set a timer, then you're going to be more comfortable with it and it's not so scary. But definitely helping people help their people is so true. I don't remember where I heard this quote. So if someone on here said it, put it in the chat. But it was that even the best coach cannot make you finish the race, right? So even the best, I ran cross country and track. So we had good coaches. We had a good team. We had a lot of really talented athletes, really driven. I'm super driven. I can be very, very competitive, you know? And so my coach could tell me like, okay, I want you to go after that girl. I want you to do this. I want you to do that. This is what you need to do. You need to pick it up at this point in the race, right? However, if he couldn't get out there and drag me, right? No, I had to do it. And so that's what we want to be, is we want to be coaches and we want to give them that power and encourage them and support them, but we ultimately cannot make them do that. So it's giving them the tools and not just taking over, because you'll get disqualified, right? If my coach were to come in and touch me, I would be disqualified. We don't want to disqualify anybody. We want to continue to help them be successful. And so giving them the tools and the encouragement. I mean, what am I going to do, to stop running a race? No, you don't just stop running. I had the tools, I had the support, I had the encouragement, I had the training, and so I finished the race. So do you see what I'm saying here? We set people up for success and they will succeed. And we have so much support here, just so much. So anyway, that is probably a whole another call. Lauren is going to talk to us about, well, I'm just going to talk about it, Lauren. Sorry, you're going to talk about book club. I'm sorry. See the red. Rochelle said the red's coming out. It just stayed out. But the thing, too, with helping develop silvers is that we're being rewarded by Plexus for helping to develop silvers, right? Convention credits were very fruitful for that. The Emerald Extravaganza credits are super fruitful for developing silvers, as well as the Leaders Retreat contest. So when we develop a silver, we get our points, our credits for those things, right? However, that's helping us. Like, yeah, that helps us. That bumps up our paycheck too. It bumps up our convention credits or whatever. However, that doesn't necessarily help them. So when I help my person, Susie, go silver, so if I just help Susie go silver, get her 3 people, I just got those convention credits. She got some for herself going silver. However, what if we help Susie get her 3 people to silver and she develops 3 more silvers, then she's getting those convention credits too, right? So this is so, so important. It's kind of selfish to be like, well, I developed a silver, I got my points, I got my credits, woohoo, I developed the silver. That is wonderful. but don't we want to pass that on to that next person too and show them how to do that? So it's kind of so much more beneficial to continue to pass that snowball down, just like I just mentioned. So Lauren is going to talk to us about book club, why it's so important to be on there, and specifically about this book that we have coming up.
Yeah, so with all of these wanting to develop silvers and wanting to just rank up ourselves and to develop our teams and all of that, we want to make sure that we're keeping our people plugged in. So that's getting them into these calls with us on Monday nights, which is, I mean, super valuable to me. I know that it's been really important for me since I started doing these. My business has taken off, but then also plugging them into book club. I actually have the book with me right now, Developing the Leaders Around You. And this is going to be huge for those of you that want to learn to develop silvers and golds and above and all of that, and just develop your own leadership skills. You guys, it's going to be an important book club, and it starts this Thursday at 9:30. So don't miss it. You'll want to be there every single week and learning with us, and we can all learn how to develop the people around us so that they can reach their financial goals, and we can also then reach our goals as well, because part of growing the team is growing in our leadership skills. So that's going to be super important for all of you too. So if you're wanting to rank up, if you're wanting to develop yourselves, I want to see in the chat some like thumbs up, or I want to see you like all wave at us on the computer if your video's on. Let us know, because this is going to be important for you then to be on this book club with us. Elizabeth, I don't know, did you have anything else you wanted to add to some of this stuff, or can we do our call to action now for people?
The only other thing I wanted to remind you of is, like we talked in the beginning about this month, the shoes, 6 joins, you get a pair of Nikes, develop 2 silvers, you get a pair of Nikes. Super awesome, right? So we want to remember that we're not in an iPad business. We're not in a Nike shoe business. We're not in a convention credit business or a leaders retreat contest business. We are in the business of changing lives and helping others with their financial and health goals. But we also want to reach that long-term goal. And so keeping that in mind, these incentives, the iPads, the shoes, the contest, these are the cherries on top. This is the cherries on top, the hot fudge on top, the whipped cream on top, like all of that. But the meat of what we're doing here is the solid ice cream, which is kind of funny because it melts, but you get the picture. What we're building on is the ice cream. And all these other things, these incentives, are just the cherry on top. So definitely keep that in mind, that it is so exciting to do those things, but our long-term goal is what we want our focus to be on. So don't forget about that.
Yeah.
Lauren, you also need to talk a little bit about vision casting, because you said some really good things when we were talking about this call.
Oh, sorry, I thought I totally already talked about it, but I just like to make sure that I make this about the people that I'm helping to develop, right? So I'm always saying, you're this far from this goal, you're this far from this goal, this is so attainable, and kind of breaking it into smaller chunks for them so they feel like they're capable of doing all the things, helping them look at their back office, helping them look at how they're reaching out to people, what they're posting on their timeline, and making sure that that falls in line with what their goals are. And then telling them, like, yeah, we want you to be gold, we want you to be silver, we want you to be super silver, we want you to be senior gold, whatever that is. But what would that look like for you and your family? So not just because we want you to have a rank, but because we want you to see what that can do for you long term. And just making sure that we know that more is caught than taught. And I think we've mentioned this a few times, but we have to make sure that we're not just telling them what to do, but we are leading by example as well, and doing all the things that we hold our people accountable to, that we're posting, that we're following up, that we're being rock stars. And then the people that want to do it are going to run along with us and say, I want to do that too. And then by leading by example and showing them what you're capable of, that will tell them that they're capable of it as well. So that's really going to help your team to grow, is if you just continue to be the leader that you want others to be as well. I hope that made sense.
Yes. Yep. Absolutely. So what we would love, we talked about this, what we would love for you to do is take this call and think about how you can put it into practice, what tips and tricks we mentioned. You can jot them down. Share that with your sponsor. Share that with your sponsor. Like, wow, this really resonated with me, and this is how I'm going to change my outreach, my follow-up, my goal setting, whatever it is, how I'm going to change that for the rest of the month and ongoing. So 1 to 3 tips that really resonated with you. And then don't forget to send this off to somebody. I'll download it to YouTube. It will be available as a link, but also as a recording, in Pink Power. So making sure that you're tagging your people and letting them know, like, hey, I tagged you in this call, and this is why. This is why I thought of you because of this and this, so please check it out. And, I'd love to hear your biggest takeaway. So really being duplicatable and even sharing these calls is super awesome.
Yes, we love not just ending a call with saying, bye, guys, but with giving you something that you actually take and use and bring to your team. So if you are working on getting to gold or really any rank, a challenge to you is to talk to your sponsor about what steps you need to take for the rest of this month to get there, or for ongoing, like Elizabeth said. And then if you have people on your team that want to rank up, talking to them about what their goals are, setting them up for success, and looking through their back office with them and showing them the steps that it'll take to get them to that next goal. So those are the actionable steps that we want you guys to take after listening to this call. And hopefully you got a lot of good nuggets from this.
Yes, we hope so. Thank you so much. We enjoyed being on here with you.
Yes. Have a great night, everybody, and good luck the rest of this month. You've got this.
Yes.
Bye.